Welcome back to Advanced English Language Academy. This is Yasin, your English language instructor. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that is going to help those who are learning English as a second language and those who are teaching English as a second language. So today we're going to talk about acquisition versus learning. So those students or those viewers who haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to receive more videos from Advanced English Language Academy. So today we're talking about acquisition versus learning. These are very important terms. So after watching this video, you will be able to understand how to learn a language, and if some teachers are watching my video, so they'll understand how they can teach English. So acquisition is not learning. For example, you think about your own mother tongue. No one taught you. There was no one to tell you the grammatical aspects of your language. There was no one to guide you. You learned automatically. So you can speak your own mother tongue with no problem at all. For example, I'm a Pathan, so I can speak Pashto with no problem at all. And I haven't taken any classes. No one has taught me Pashto grammar. And even if you ask me now, I don't know anything about grammar. Pashto grammar, I mean, but I can speak Pashto with no problem at all. You just think about your own language. If you are speaking Hindi, you are speaking Urdu, you are speaking German, you are speaking Chinese, any language, Arabic, so you haven't learned that language. Automatically, things happened, and there was no one to guide you. You were speaking, there was no one to instruct you, and just you can speak your own mother tongue with no problem at all. Without knowing its grammar, you can speak, right? But learning is something else. Now, acquisition is only possible where the language is spoken. For example, if I belong to America, I belong to England, so I don't need to learn English because there is environment, okay? But if I don't belong to an English country, so automatically I need to learn English. Why? Because there is no environment. So this is called learning. Now learning, acquisition is not possible here. Why are we learning English? You know that English is the modern language. It is an international language, and you need to learn English to make your way through. So therefore you need to learn English. So acquisition is not possible here. Why? Because there should be someone to correct us. No one speaks English at home, in the office. We just speak our mother tongue. If in Pakistan we speak Pashto, Urdu, so if you are an Indian, so people will be speaking Hindi there, German, so no one speaks English in the office and in the environment, I mean. But if you think about English people, so they speak English everywhere, so if their child is listening to them, so he is learning a language, but he is not concerned, he doesn't know about grammar, and he shouldn't know anything about grammar. So this is called learning, okay? So now in acquisition is not natural. You allow your student, you allow the child to speak. You allow him or her to speak. You are not there to correct his or her mistakes. You are not there to pick up his or her mistakes. So you are not there to help him or her. So automatically a language is being installed into his or her language system. Environment, as I told you, that environment is very important and it plays a key role. If I say that acquisition can only be an environment, I won't be wrong. Why? Because everywhere people are speaking English, everywhere. So automatically, if I belong to a native country and if I belong to an English country, so I'll also be speaking English there. So what will be the result? The result will be that the person who learns language through acquisition, he'll be a fluent speaker and he will be confident, and there'll be confidence in him or her. Learning language, now let's come to this point. Learning language can be challenging. How? Why? Because there is no environment. As I mentioned earlier, that people don't speak English. We try to speak English with people, they just speak for 2-3 minutes and then they switch back to their mother tongue, and it's very natural for them because they feel easy there. and you will be instructing people. For example, if I'm instructor, so I instruct my students to follow some grammatical structures. I instruct them to use certain verbs. I instruct them not to make certain mistakes. So this is called molding. Molding means that I want the person to speak how I want him or her to speak. So this is called molding. So we're actually compelled to do this. It's our compulsion. We don't have any other option left. There will be pauses, and when a person learns a language, so he must be confused. So what is the solution? The solution is very easy. In our language academies, there is teaching. Your teaching shouldn't be your top priority. Okay? For example, if I have an academy, so teaching shouldn't be my top priority, because when I am teaching a language, so what happens? I am consciously teaching a language, and then my students understand that language, but there is no environment. So your top priority should be creating an environment. If you are an English language instructor, so I guess 20% should be teaching and 80% you should make an environment. When you make an environment for your students, so then they will automatically learn a language, learn English I mean, and when they automatically learn English, so you are actually creating a kind of acquisition, which is very difficult, but still I do in my academy that I don't instruct too much. If someone is making mistakes, just like a small child is making a mistake, so we enjoy. We want him or her to repeat what he or she said. So same should be the case in English. If someone is speaking wrong English, we should appreciate him or her and allow, don't instruct too much. Yeah, there will come a time when you will instruct, because he or she will go for interviews, because he or she will go to the society, so you have to correct certain mistakes and you have to instruct him or her not to make some mistakes, but you should allow. So when you allow the students, no problem, it is not our own language, we will be making mistakes, no problem, no issues, but when you allow nature environment, for example in your academy there is environment and everyone is speaking English, you don't need to teach. There will come a time when you won't need to teach. For example, I taught for 5 days, 10 days, and then I gave 20 days for practicing environment, practicing environment creating, so then my students will learn English with no problem at all and they'll be very fluent speaker of English. But what we do, we use too many teaching techniques in language. Remember, English language teachers aren't there. There are English language instructor. Instructor means that we just need to guide the person. This is how you will go, but we don't go with that person. Now, teaching is something else and instructing is something else, because we are giving a skill to our students. So when we are giving a skill, so we don't need to teach, we need to instruct, and then they'll find their own way. So the solution is that we should create environment. Creating an environment should be the top priority of English language instructor. Thanks a lot. So that's what we had here today. See you next time.